and Luke Schencher, but both teams play with a lot of depth. The Cedar brothers come off the bench. Blanchfield comes off the bench now that Luke Schencher's back into the lineup. And we are underway. The Tigers get first possession. Yinda Ubaka and Eddie Gill. Ron Dorsey, they try and get him going early. His rim's out. Eddie Gill gets the long rebound. They start almost every game like that.
It's almost a standard play that they try and get Ron Dorsey involved. And I like it because he is an important factor for the Melbourne Tigers. And they'd also be wanting to do the same with Tommy Greer. And then you see Luke Schencher and what the size advantage that he has at 7'1". Just the dominance. But down the other end of the floor, he's got his troubles because he's going to have to guard the 6'7" athletic Tommy Greer.
Dillon to Dorsey. May have shuffled the feet. Pass is deflected. Gets to Schencher. Now it's Gill and Dorsey trying to come up with it. Alternating possessions goes to Townsville.
Steve, a lot's been made of the Melbourne Tigers' last 2 losses. I'm sure they can lay claim to not having great luck when you're losing double overtime and in overtime. But bottom line is they've played 3 overtime games this season and come up short in each and every one of them. That goes beyond just a bit of luck. It also comes down to how you're going to manage those extra periods and how you respond in a crisis. And so far this season, they haven't been able to get the job done.
Extra pass goes to Elvin Mims. His rim's out where you have to have a score in the ball game. Dillon to Dorsey, back to Dillon. Ball's tipped away by Crawford.
Very relaxed Trevor Gleason. Looks like
Dorsey took a few steps before he put the ball on the floor. Dorsey going left. Ball goes off of his leg out of bounds. A very similar start to last night in the Gold Coast, where neither team scored for the first minute and a half, and we are about to embark on that as the clock dips down to 8:30. Crawford gets it back from Jacob Holmes, goes baseline. Schencher with the jump hook, and we're underway in the scoring department. Townsville up by 2. Ubaka. Trigard puts it on the floor and loses the handle, but it was tipped away.
Got lucky on that one too. Cam Trigard putting the ball to the floor. Every time he gets Luke Schencher on him, we're going to see that. They had Jacob Holmes guarding Cam Trigard early on. They've made the change now, and Luke Schencher's guarding the leading scorer in the competition, and that's where he's going to get exposed, Luke Schencher, because Cameron Trigard has been automatic this season, 56% from the field, and he splashes the first 2 for the Melbourne Tigers.
And that is where he lives. Medium range jump shot from just off of the key. Mims goes strong to the basket. Blocking foul on Tommy Greer as he tried to draw the chalk. Get another look.
There it is, Mims getting to the basket. Just the hands coming down cost Tommy Greer on that occasion. He just wanted to try and deflect the ball. He wasn't in terrible position. And Mims will go to the line to shoot a couple of free throws. Elvin Mims has been very, very good this season. He's averaging almost 12 points a game and had some injury problems, some foul troubles early on. Otherwise, those averages would probably be a little bit higher.
1 of 2, and the Crocs take the 1-point lead. Dorsey to Dillon. Goes baseline. Good D by Peter Crawford, cutting off the baseline.
A lot of mistakes early on for the Melbourne Tigers. That's their 3rd turnover of the first quarter. Daniel Dillon with the foul, just not quite in position. But even last week, Steve, in that extra time, you play 5 minutes of extra time against the Cairns Taipans, and they have 4 turnovers in that 5-minute period. That's just handing the opposition the win when you have that many turnovers at this level. And there's another, just a sloppy turnover. Pretty ugly start to this one here, Steve.
That's generous. Man, it just, you know, as important as this game is, you just don't feel the concentration and the urgency. Cam Trigard with One over the outstretched hand.
That is just great hustle by Tommy Greer. Didn't give up on the play and was able to slap that ball back in off the legs of Peter Crawford. Seemed like a dead play. And Tommy Greer, as I mentioned, 1 of 21 in his last 5 games. So not getting it done from the field, but those hustle plays is what he's there for. Cam Tregat. The game proves to be a handful.
That's going to be a nightmare matchup for Luke Schencher. Gill, not a great pass to Peter Crawford. Wasn't able to reel it in.
And Luke Schencher's come into this lineup at the expense of Todd Blanchfield. He's really done nothing wrong. As a starter, Blanchfield doing some great things, but right there you see the advantage. 7'1". That is a rare commodity in the NBL these days, Steve, and why wouldn't you milk that against an undersized Melbourne Tigers?
A true center playing with his back to the basket and a hook shot. Yeah, that's a rare sighting in the NBL.
And if he can catch it down low, it's just a matter of whether he's going to make or miss it unless you send a double team. Because it's just size, pure size. Says, hey, he's 7'1" up against a 6'7" guy. He's going to be able to get the shot off.
On the other end, trying not to allow Cam Tregat to catch it, because once he catches it, he's tough to stop.
And Luke Schencher's only 4 of 17 from the field at 23% so far this season. But played very limited minutes a couple of weeks ago against the Wollongong Hawks in his first game back.
Dorsey missing the layup. Put some defensive pressure. Mims did on him. Terrible pass by Gill. Doesn't seem to be switched on so far. He's made a couple of very uncharacteristic turnovers. The floor leader for Townsville. Greer. Back to Ubaka. Shot clock down to 5.
Holding foul called on Eddie Gill. Shot clock coming down. It was just a broken play into Ubaka. And that's the big problem the Melbourne Tigers have. When you don't have that major low post present, if you take a look at the replay, see the right hand there, just that little reach in is where he's called. When you get desperate, if you're relying on shots from the perimeter, you don't have that beast down low that you can throw the ball into. Sure, Cambridge Yar's a good target, a good scoring option, but there you can see what happens when you don't have that size advantage. Turnover that time by Tregat.
Gill for 3, got the feet set. Nobody on the glass for Townsville, and here come the Tigers. Dillon just follows the defense of the Townsville Crocs, who had their back on to the ball. No vision.
You almost get the stench. You feel like these guys have been playing. This is the 3rd minute of a triple overtime game. They're going up and down, and they just look not playing with a great spark. And perhaps it's just that bit of nervous energy with the importance of this game. Tough to find a better open court player right now than Daniel Dillon. When he gets a head of steam up, Steve, he's very hard to stop.
Schencher down bottom. He's got Tim Lang on him. Mims off the mark.
And Cam Tregat's checked out of the game. He's picked up those 2 fouls. That's why I see him on the bench.
Lang in with no Matt Burston. Daniel Dillon, who was the Townsville killer last year in the playoffs. When able to hit that one, Ubaka gets all the way to the rim, but he can't get the finish.
Tim Lang's a good fill-in player. He's got good size, 6'10". He's had some experience with the Melbourne Tigers over the last couple of years. Played 4 years at Stetson, University of Stetson, and been playing with Kilsyth in the SEABL. And he's good talent. He's certainly NBL talent.
Timeout on the floor. We're all tied up at 6 here at the cage. Tigers, Crocs. We'll be back.
Hungry Jack's introduces premium choices. To show you how tasty they are, we've added multiple camera angles to our Swiss cheese. A big sizzling effect to our new extra thick Angus beef. Our tricky focus pull to our juicy mushrooms. We're so proud of these ingredients, we've included them all in the name. Introducing the Swiss Mushroom Angus XT and the Barbecue Bacon Angus XT. Part of our new Better Tastes menu. Hungry Jack's makes it better.
Got that, 22-13. Keep forward and up. Keep running it hard in the transition. Flow into it.
They're in the bonus now. Keep it touching the rim. You're rewarded. We're in the bonus.
Yeah, you can get some pistols in transition. X's are good. Time you deliver the ball in, if they're pressing, you bring them back in and we can get in some X2s. Okay, X's in the on ball. Bring Schenzer out to defend that on ball. You dive hard. Right out of that pick. You dive hard. Shoot or replace. Here we go now. Good job.
Trevor Gleason with his club. Made 4 turnovers already, Andrew.
It is, and that's really shooting yourself in the foot, handing those opportunities for the Townsville Crocs. They're only shooting it at 33%, so they haven't been able to make the most of it, and they've been pretty generous as well. Already got 2 turnovers in the first half of the first quarter.
And Eddie Gill's got both of those.
Inde Ubaka is going to be very, very critical to the Melbourne Tigers for the remainder of the season. Cameron Trigard's shown to be that potent scorer, but Eddie Gill's got to run the team, but he also needs to be able to create scoring opportunities for himself, which he's more than capable of. We saw that last season with the Cairns Taipans. So
a rare miss from the foul line for Inde Ubaka. And it's on an odd number again. 1 point lead.
A little bit of zone defense now for the Melbourne Tigers. They fall into a 2-3 zone.
Mims to Crawford. Crawford gets a good look right at the top of the key. That's not even close. Ball's tipped to Dorsey. Ubaka with numbers gets it to Dorsey in rhythm for 3. That's good. Ubaka getting his old teammate.
The last 3 weeks, Steve, Ron Dorsey looks like he's getting back to the Ron Dorsey that we saw last season with the Cairns Taipans.
Peter Crawford has the answering 3 on the other end. Now it's starting to open up.
Peter Crawford's having an unbelievable season. His best in a number of years. He's been solid, but this season he has just been spectacular, very reliable, and particularly in a crisis, the Townsville Crocs, it's been Peter Crawford that's coming up with the big plays, averaging 16 points a game.
Dorsey can't get the second 3-point shot to fall, and here comes Townsville on the miss. Daniel Dillon picks up his second foul. Just trailing the play, reaches in front. Foul wasn't called till he went in the second time. See it on the replay.
In the bonus, so Peter Crawford's going to go to the line to shoot a couple. Peter Crawford this season, he's 32 of 37 from the free throw line at a very healthy 87%. Bang! Just like that, the commentators, Moz has gone to Peter Crawford.
That was very long, too. Makes the adjustment. That first one of the game sometimes can just pumping or anything. That first one can go real long. And you just hope you get fouled a lot to make up for that miss during the course of the game.
Ben Allen's come into the game for the first time, replacing Luke Schenzer.
Ubaka waits for the ball screen. Ben Allen just a little too much of a check as he tried to ride Ubaka out a little bit more so he couldn't get an angle on that on ball.
Which you have to do, not uncommon for defensive tactics, is to come on any on-ball screen on Inde Ubaka, come and show and put as much pressure on the ball as you can, because he's coming up with those screens. You go underneath them, he's just going to step back and ding threes on you all night. There you see it again. Jacob Holmes comes out with the show.
Lang finds Tommy Greer from the baseline. He drills it with confidence. Stroke for Tommy Greer outside the line.
And he's been really struggling from the field, and that's a huge, huge shot. I spoke to him before the game. He's actually said that his shot's been feeling good, just needs to get his confidence going. He is capable. When he gets his feet set, he's very capable of knocking down those three-pointers.
Gill with the floater, 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Was able to execute that one, made it look easy. Liam Rush. Back against 2 screens. Then gets it back from Lang. Lang's got to get that one up. He does. Off the mark, Blanchfield pulls down the board. Here come Townsville. Gill, cross court to Peter Crawford, and Eddie Gill's got his 3rd turnover.
And not one of them you'd say was forced. There was a fumble where he lost it at the center line. Then he tried a real prayer of a pass in it to try and post someone out, and that one just got away from him. So some sloppy play by Eddie Gill. He's pretty upset with himself. And they make some substitutions on the floor. Eddie Gill gets a spell.
The Cedar brothers are in. Michael and Chris. Chris up top. Gets into our computer with a stat in a foul.
He does, and the Melbourne Tigers, the last 3 or 4 minutes have just gone to their pick and roll plays very early. I like it when they run their shuffle options and then get into their pick and rolls. When they come straight down and everyone's in their comfortable positions, they go to their pick and roll without any sort of motion. It's a lot easier on the defense to know their rules and how they're going to defend it.
Tommy Greer with a tough one. Shot clock winding down. Rebound. Eventually gets to Jacob Holmes. Skip pass to Blanchfield. He puts it on the floor. Jumped up, had nowhere to go. Good no call.
Blanchfield then looked like he was thinking pass. And right there is what happens if you don't show on the screen. A wide open shot to Ayinde Ubaka.
Putback, Tommy Greer is fouled. Melbourne Tigers hit the glass hard on that possession.
They are, and you can tell it seems like a real conscious effort by the Melbourne Tigers to hit the glass. They've been out rebound quite a bit this season. Tonight, going their way early on. They got 9 rebounds, the Crocs with the 6. So some good signs on the glass for the Melbourne Tigers in this first quarter.
Greer gets the first. And Tommy Greer, he gets you around double figures with all that intensity and defense and the way he hits the glass. How about, the plays he makes are the ones that he threw the ball off of Peter Crawford's legs, and then when he's hitting threes and getting himself to the foul line after offensive rebounds, it's going to be a good night for him. Jacob Holmes, talk about his vast improvement after leaving the 36ers. Gets an opportunity to play some ball in Townsville, and he has rewarded them with the jester. Rush. He launches from 3. That's off the mark.
Steve, a lot has been made of the Melbourne Tigers. Have gone through this run of outs, losing 5 of their last 6 games, and questions have been asked of their offense, but I don't see their offense as being their biggest problem. Sure, there's areas they can improve on. It's been their defense during that period of time, which to me has been the biggest problem. Guards, in particular the guards. We saw Jamar Wilson last weekend tear him to shreds. And a few weeks ago against the Crocs, Eddie Gill had 30 on him.
Inbound goes to Jacob Holmes. He does not hesitate. Splashes that 3 to give the Crocs a 2-point lead. 12 seconds to go here in the first period. Ibaka is the man they want the ball in the hands of. Ibaka draws the contact, gets it to Lucas Walker. Felt like he was fouled. Clock expires after 1 quarter.